welcome here at Legacy Books. Today we're talking about a non-fiction book. It's not even pretending to be fiction like the rest of the George M. James books, which is debatable whether they're fiction, because the history and the tactics and the quotes and things inside them are totally true. They're just written as a fictional story, but what you learn from them is not fiction. So today we're talking about George M. James, his intelligence briefing. Now what happened here was that during the research for the other books, and he wrote more than 50 books in this field of espionage, military theory, military history, there were a lot of intelligence which came with these books. There's about 600 pages behind every book of research. And he started looking at what's happening in the world and started seeing patterns. And then he said, okay, let us do then like a short briefing to everybody. Let us tell them what's happening behind the scenes, because it's important that these things come out, because it will affect your life. And there's a lot of evil in this world, and that's what he was and still is exposing. And of course, he's Christian in views and conservative, very much like you, or you would not be listening here. And therefore the books are suppressed. I always say to you, get hold of these books while you can do so, because there are truths inside these books which you would not know, and which people don't want you to know, which is even worse, because that comes down to, book burning. And then you hear only one side of a story, which will lead to all sorts of nonsense and all sorts of horrible things. It's not natural. Right, so in intelligence briefing he takes different topics and he says, right, what do we know about it? And let us expose these people a little bit. So what he's looking at is, that Khashoggi guy who got himself killed in Turkey, I believe, by Saudi Arabia. Even if he was a citizen as well as the US one and a journalist, nothing happened to Saudi Arabia because of that. Now Saudi Arabia is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest terrorist funding nations there is, and it comes out in this chapter as well. They are the ones behind ISIS as well as behind Al Qaeda. But mainstream will say to you, no, it's not like that, no, it's Iran. You know what, Iran is a Shia Muslim nation. They hate the Sunni Muslims, therefore they can't stand Al Qaeda or ISIS. There's a religious clash between the two groups. And if you look at the mosques which have been built and are still being built right across Africa, all funded by Saudi money. But you have to wonder about this, because on the one hand the US, the second beast of the book of Revelations and Daniel, is fighting against these people. On the other hand, they're pumping money into the ones who's funding the people they're fighting. It's called the Hegelian dialectic. And you have to read the GMJ books to understand what I'm talking about, because this will affect you in the future. It is affecting you as we speak. So George went out and he took different topics. Khashoggi is just one of them. And he started explaining things in the background. So it's a fascinating book. It's a complete intelligence briefing, which you would normally find at a very high rank given to presidents. Except, of course, this thing is actually the truth. It's not the usual crap to get the president to do something, because that we've done also. It's very easy. You just leave out certain things and you make sure that other things are being made a bit more important than what it really is, and then you mind, I wanted to use the F word, then you mind screw this guy until he does exactly what you want. And that's how you create chaos, and that's exactly what's happening in the world right now. You will also find his chapter on the Kripal poisoning, I think quite fascinating, because a lot of things come out there as well. So this will be for you like an eye-opener in history. You've probably lived through these things, you know about it, you will remember about them. And I think there's a lot of things you will find in this book which is just incredible. I myself, when I read it, sat there and I was shaking my head. I thought, wow, okay, I didn't understand the links. I didn't understand how these things go together. So if you have time, the book's available on Amazon. Get hold of it. I don't want to give you more information. Sometimes I give you too much information, and then there's no need for you to read the book. And then, the object here is for you to be aware of a book and to buy it. And then you support a good cause as well. So until we meet again, God bless.